Hello and welcome back to our channel, a new episode for AZ104 Microsoft Azure Administrator Certification Exam. Today we are diving into some carefully crafted exam questions complete with explanation to help you understand the core concepts. If you have not watched our previous video, you can check our entire playlist which has approx 100 plus questions. If you are looking for comprehensive AZ104 preparation resources, we have got you covered. Visit our website Tech Cloud Solution where you will find the AZ104 PDF dumps featuring over 400 practice questions to sharpen your skills, an exclusive AZ104 course that mimics the actual certification exam experience, including detailed explanation for every questions, mock test and additional study materials to boost your confidence. Don't miss out. After watching this video, visit our websites and grab the AC104 PDF dumps or enroll in the course to get started. This is your chance to supercharge your preparation and achieve your certification goals. The link is in the description below. Question number 111. A company has the following resources deployed to their Azure subscription. The virtual machine TechCert Lab VM is currently in the running state. The company now assigns the below Azure policy to the Azure subscription. The not allowed resource types are Microsoft.network/virtual networks and Microsoft/compute/virtual machines. Would an administrator be able to modify the address space of TechCert Lab-VNet2? So in the question it is given that there is Azure policy created at the subscription level and the not allowed resource types are virtual networks and virtual machines. Since the not allowed resource types are virtual networks, so you would not be able to modify the address space of the VNet. So the answer would be no. Question number 112. A company current has a set of Azure virtual machines. They want to ensure that their IT administrative team is alerted if any of the virtual machines are shut down. They decide to create alerts based on activity logs in Azure Monitor. Would this fulfill the requirement? So the correct answer is yes. So basically the activity log service is used to record all control plane activities. So you can then create alerts based off the activity logs. Question number 113. A company current has a set of Azure virtual machines. They want to ensure that their IT administrative team is alerted if any of the virtual machines are shut down. They decide to create alerts in the Azure Advisor service. Would this fulfill the requirement? And the options are yes or no. So basically the Azure service is used as a recommendation engine and can't be used to record activities for the virtual machine. Hence the correct answer is no. Question number 114. A company current has a set of Azure virtual machines. They want to ensure that their IT administrative team is alerted if any of the virtual machines are shut down. They decide to create alerts in the service health service. Would this fulfill the requirement? So the service health service is used to inform users on the health of all Azure based services. So the correct answer is no. Question number 115. A company has an Azure subscription that contains the following resource groups. So we have two resource group, that is RG1 and RG2, and the log type for RG1 is given as none and for the RG2 is given as delete log type. Now for the resource group, that is TechCert Labs lays RG1 contains the following resources. Now we have the resources storage account, virtual networks and public IP address. So for the storage account we have log type delete and for the virtual network we have the log type read only. Whereas for the public IP address no log type is there. Now, would you be able to move the resource TechCert Lab network from the resource group TechCert Labs-RG1 to TechCert Labs dash RJ2, and the options are yes or no. So basically, to determine whether you can move the resource TechCert Lab network from the resource group TechCert Labs dash RG1 to TechCert Labs dash RG2, we need to analyze the resource logs applied to both resource group and the specific resources. Now, for the resource group, that is TechCert Labs RG1, it contains three resources. That is, the first one is storage account, which has a delete log, and then we have a virtual network which has a read only log, and the last, that is public IP address, which has a no log. Also, for the resource group, TechCert Labs RJ2 has a delete log. Now, in Azure, when moving resources between resource groups, the following rules apply regarding logs. If the destination resource group has a delete log, it prevents any resource from being deleted from that group. However, it does not prevent moving resources into it. The second rule, if the source resource group has a read only lock on any of its resources, that might restrict modification, including moving resources out of the group. The presence of a read only lock on TechCert Lab network means that modification to these resources are restricted, which could prevent moving it to another resource group. So given the above analysis, you cannot move the resource TechCert Lab network from TechCert Labs RG1 to TechCert Labs RJ2 because the resource, the TechCert Lab network has a read-only lock applied to it, which restricts modification to the resources. Hence, the correct answer is no. Question number 116. So for this also the question is same and all the information is same except the question, and here the question says, would you be able to move the resource TechCert Lab IP from the resource group TechCert Labs RG1 to TechCert Labs RG2? So we can move the resource, that is TechCert Lab IP, from TechCert Labs RG1 to RG2 resource group. The reason is that the resource itself does not have any locks. The source group allows for moving resources since it has no restrictive locks on TechCert Lab IP, and moving the resources into a destination group with a delete lock does not prevent the action. Hence, the correct answer is yes. Question number 117. A company has an Azure subscription and an Azure tenant named TechCertLabs.onmicrosoft.com. The following users are defined in the tenant. So name, role and scope is given as, we have TechCert Lab user 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 1 it has role global administrator and the scope is Microsoft Intra ID. For the user 2, the role is global administrator and the scope is Microsoft Intra ID. For the third user, the role is user administrator and the scope is Microsoft Intra ID. And for the fourth user, the role is owner and it's for Azure subscription. Now that user takes that lab user 1 now goes ahead and creates a new directory named staging.takecertlabs.onmicrosoft.com. New users no need to be created in the new tenant. The company asks TakeCertLab user 1 to create the user account. Would this fulfill the requirement? And the options are yes and no. So since this is the user has a global administrator role and has created the new directory, the user would have the required permission to create new users in the directory. So the correct answer is yes. Question number 118. So here the scenario is same, but the question says the company asks TechCert Lab user 2 to create the user account. Would this fulfill the requirement? And the options are yes or no. So the correct answer is no, as the user would only be the global administrator for the current directory. In order to add users to the new directory, the main users needs to be given the required role in the new directory. Question number 119, the scenario is same and the question says the company asks TechCert Lab user 3 to create the user accounts, and the options are yes and no. So the user would only be the user administrator for the current directory. In order to add users to the new directory, the main users need to be given the required role in the new directory. Hence the correct answer is no. Question number 120. A company currently has a two Azure subscription, TechCert Lab Dash Staging and TechCert Lab Dash Production. TechCert Lab Dash Staging has the following virtual networks. So the virtual network is created as TechCert Lab networks and the address space is given and the location is West Europe and the West US. The virtual networks have the following subnets. So we have given name, address space and the location. Also TechCert Lab Dash Production has the following virtual networks. So it has the virtual networks with the address space and the location is Canada Central. So this networks contains the following subnets and it has TechCert Lab subnet A1 and A2 with the given address space. Now the question says, can you establish a site-to-site VPN connection between TechCert Lab Network 1 and TechCert Lab Network 2? And the options are yes and no. So the correct answer is no. The reason is that the virtual networks TechCert Lab Network 1 does not have sufficient address space to create a gateway subnet, and to establish a site-to-site VPN connection, you need to have a gateway subnet in place.